it's Elaine. Thank you for joining me on my channel today. I'm sharing these really cute gift tags using the MFT Frightfully Sweet stamp set. So let's get started. I'm taking my Jaded Blossom Treat tag die for this, and I have cut the larger piece out of black cardstock and the smaller piece out of white. And then I decided that I wanted a little bit of a grounding for my critters. So I take my MFT Drift and Hill stencil and some black soot distress ink, but you'll see later on that I do change that up a little bit. Then I'm taking my mini clouds MFT stencil as well and just securing that to my craft mat with some blue tape. And my first colour I'm going to use is Chipped Sapphire, a really nice sort of dark purpley blue, and I'm using my stencil just to create myself some clouds in the background. This tag's a really good size, so you can get like a really nice scene on your tag. It's not too small, and yeah, I'm really enjoying using it at the moment. So I just go all the way up, right to the top, just creating some really soft clouds and tapping off my ink as I go, just to try and make everything look nice and smooth. And once I'm happy with that, I'll then move on to the next colour, which is Wilted Violet, then Twisted Citron, and finally I use my carved pumpkin. It's gradually blending on those clouds, just really light hand. And once I'm happy with all of those, I'm then going to start by stamping on my spooky fence. So this is when I do the first one and I realise my fence is a little bit too low, but I am going to, I think I'm going to emboss this fence. I don't actually do that in the end, but I use my Versafine Onyx black ink, and this is when I realise my fence is too low. So I just move that up a little touch in my Misty, and then move on to my next tag. So I use my embossing buddy, my Versafine Onyx black ink, and that looks a lot better. I'm much happier with that. So then I just go ahead and do that for all of the tags, assembly line style, and then just positioning my critters. And this is where I decide that actually I want to change up how they're sort of standing. So I decide to use my glitter paper that I've got in my stash, my Lawn Fawn stitched Hillside borders, and I cut a piece of glitter paper from that, and then I use that bottom part of the tag to create the shape that I want. So you'll see here I've cut 4 of those out. Pop a bit of Nuvo liquid adhesive on the bottom or on the back, and then just secure that down. And I think that looks much better. Plus it's sparkly, so everyone's happy, well, especially me, because I love glitter and a little bit of sparkle. So I just sort of have to make do with that one. So then I'm moving on to my fox. I hadn't previously coloured him up, so I've popped the colours of the markers I'm using onto the screen. I will also list them down in the description box below. So just using some purples. These are the same purples I used in my previous video because I wanted them to match the little critters that I've already coloured up. So just using my purples, and then I'm moving on to my pumpkin basket, my favourite colours for these little pumpkin baskets. And then I'm just using my E markers for the sort of the foxy colour. And I think he's so adorable. I'm assuming he's wearing a mask, so I don't colour that bit with fox colours. And I use the tip to tip method for my colouring. I find that really helpful with blending. And then I move on to his tummy. I'm calling him a him. I'm assuming is a him, his tummy and his tail, and I used the E21 and the E00 for that part, just to give a little bit of slight variation in colour for those parts of his body. And then I'm moving on to some cool dark grey markers for his mask. Again, these are the only sort of C markers I've got, so I have to use that tip to tip just to try and get them all to blend nicely, which I think looked good. Then I'm using my black jelly roll glaze pen for the eyes, and I just use my coordinating dies to cut him out. Now I'm moving on to my sentiments. I used the Spooky Treats stamp set for these sentiments. They just had a nice size sentiments on, so I'm using Trick or Treat and Happy Halloween from that set, and using my Embossing Buddy and Versafine Onyx black ink to stamp out the sentiments on each of those tags, because I do heat emboss these ones. So I just take my clear embossing powder, coat each of those sentiments and heat set them all. So once they are all done, I'm now just going to go ahead and glue on my little critters with my liquid adhesive. Just making sure I'm happy with how they're positioned on each of those little hills. Want to try and get as much of the fence spikes in as possible. Just going in with my Nuvo glitter pen on a few of the little accents, and now I'm just going to use that same glitter paper to cut out the reinforcement holes around the top of the tag. And again, just use some liquid adhesive to secure those down and sort of tie everything in and finish it off nicely. And then I just pop some glue on the back of each of those tags and secure the tags to the base. Just being careful to line up those holes, make sure everything looks centered on the tags. I do like to turn my things over to press them down nicely without getting all glue on my fingers. So they're starting to come together. Then I take this Mama Elephant confetti stamp set, because I really like this to and from the set. I think it's a really nice size. I did cut them apart to make them fit better on my tag, and use Versafine Onyx black ink again for that. And then I take these little clear hair bands from one of my local shops, and then I'm cutting some black tulle. I cut 10 inches of that and then just sort of scrunch it up and thread it through the hole. And you probably could skip this step, but I like to have a little bit more control once it's done. So I just tie that hairband round the tulle and then take some purple ribbon, which I had in my stash. I tried to get it to match up to the purple on the little accents on the critters as best as I could. And then off camera I just prepared these other little bows and use my liquid adhesive to secure those and leave them to dry, and they do secure quite well. And now I've got some sparkly sequins which I'm going to pop in the background. I've got some from Crafting Desert Divas and some which I just had in my stash. So I like to use my quickie glue pen just to put a couple of dots of glue. They don't need very much at all. And take my jewel picker, secure those down into the background. And I think they look super cute. So just turned on my phone light just to sort of show you how sparkly they are. And my tags are finished, ready for giving out treats. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial today, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.